I have no intro, so let's just get started. What are we doing today? I feel slightly like not prepared for this video. I've just been thinking about it in my brain and hoping that this will make sense format wise. So, I wanted to discuss a few things. One, my reading goals for this year for 2026. Two, my TBR. Now, I must give you a little bit of background. Before we get into anything else, I must give you a little bit of background. So, in 2024, I read 100 books. I won't shut up about it. Listen, I read 100 books. In order to do that, I needed to be really, really strict about how many books I was reading per month and what books I was reading. So I kind of do a mix of like from the library and then like purchasing books. And in order for me to make sure I get my hands, or was to get my hands on every single book I wanted to read each month, I needed to really, really plan it out. Towards like the last quarter of the year, I kind of fell off and I wasn't as strict. And I started just kind of reading, like switching out certain books to just read what I wanted to read, throw in some new releases when I wanted to throw in new releases. Doing all that in 2024, I said never again. I said, actually, I never want to plan out my reading that strict ever again. I don't want to do it. So then 2025 rolls around, and I said, forget a TBR. We don't care about a TBR. TBRs don't matter. And then I realized I didn't know what the fuck to read because, in true and utter Libra fashion, I'm indecisive as hell. So I could not make a decision as to what to read for the life of me. And it made me feel like I didn't want to read anything. And I had no desire to really read much in 2025. Also, my schedule changed a lot for like personal reasons, but I found that there was just like nothing that interests me. I was spending so much time just trying to figure out what I could read that I ended up like not reading nearly as much as I wanted to because there was nothing pulling me towards any books. So I say that whole long-winded explanation to say, let's discuss my goals first and foremost. So, as I just mentioned, like personal reasons, the personal reasons is I work full time and I go to school full time. Those are my personal reasons. So I don't have nearly as much time as I did through most of 2025 and 2024. 2024, I wasn't in school and I was working part time. And then 2025, I was unemployed for half of it. And then I didn't start working full time until the last like 4 months of the year. And I also wasn't going to school until the last 4 months of the year. So, with that being said, I don't think I can read as much as I even did last year. I don't know. I'm going to be in school for a decent chunk of time of this year is going to make it a little bit complicated. So my reading goal is 40 books. I'm actually not confident I'm going to be able to do that. I'm not very confident I'm going to hit those 40 books. It is only like 3 books a month. I kind of still want to shoot for 4. But I don't know. I don't know, especially considering that I've kind of been vibing with like 400-page books. Um, we'll see. We'll see. But that is the goal. God willing, I will come to you guys at the beginning of each of the following months and tell you that I read 4 books. Hopefully that's what will happen when I do wrap ups, right? But we will see. So let's get into my actual TBR. Let's get into that part of the video. So I'm screen recording. You can probably see my screen. I've decided last minute that you're going to see my screen. And we're going to go through some of these books, probably all of them. We'll see what I end up deciding to edit out, if any. We'll go through all of these books. I only have 35 books on here. And I'm not really taking into account anything that I might kind of randomly read. So technically, my TBR is longer than the amount of books I'm trying to read. So we're off to a great start. Okay, so the first book I have on here is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I read Sula in 2024, I think. And I don't think I was smart enough to get it. And if my review sounds like there's something else, like I did understand, I didn't. And I'm a little worried about reading The Bluest Eye. However, I'm kind of formatting the way that I read books a little differently than I did years prior. Um, so maybe I'll understand what's happening a little bit better. This has been on my TBR since 2022, which means this has been on my TBR since the year I started like legitimately reading. So maybe we should do something about that. The next book I have is Once We Were Wolves. Again, been on my TBR since 2022. I've heard so much about this author and this book in particular, and pretty much everyone that I follow online that has read this book loves it. And I want to say this is Charlotte's, like one of Charlotte's like shorter books. I want to say this is a short story collection. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like if I really like this, it will make it easier to read some of their like longer works because I kind of have caught a vibe and I'll be ready to like hop into a full length novel from them. Now we have The Age of Doubt. I have meant to read this book literally since 2023, like January 7th of 2023 when I put this on here. I was actually very excited about it. Don't ask me what it's about. I don't remember. But or actually I think this is short stories as well. I have been very intrigued by this book from the beginning. Like this isn't even one of those books where like I kind of like I heard someone mention it and I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll put it on my TBR. Like no, this is a book I've actively been interested in reading, and every single time I see the cover I'm like, oh my god, the cover is so nice. That's kind of what's drawing me, to be honest. I'm like, oh my god, the cover is so nice. I really really want to read it. And then I just never have. But I'm very very intrigued and I really want to get to it. Next is The Bread the Devil Needs. Now, technically, I should have read this a while ago, but my library has never gotten it. I have literally put a notification on to receive this book, like to be notified when my library gets this book, and they have yet to do it. So someone's requested it, and I don't think it's just me. So someone has requested for this book, and my library has yet to get this book. But again, this is another book that I've heard so many good things about. The only thing that I guess concerns me, I believe that the author is from Trinidad, and it's written like with the Trinidadian like accent. I guess I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it, but our dialect maybe. It's written in a way that doesn't sound like American English. So I guess I'm a little concerned about if that's gonna like trip me up some because I can't recall if there's another book that I've ever read that is written like that. I think there's one book I attempted to read and I got through 7 pages and I just like didn't I didn't care enough to continue and to like try to work my way through that. But this book I've just like heard too many good things and I really want to like work my way through it. But I think I'm gonna have to purchase it because the library just doesn't have it. So I think it's just gonna boil down to me purchasing the book. Let's transition into some nonfiction briefly. I have The End of Policing. Now, on my TBR since 2023, I feel like I don't read enough nonfiction. I definitely didn't really read any nonfiction last year. I did try to like pop in some nonfiction in 2024. I think it might have been maybe 10% of my reading was nonfiction, which means I only read like 10 books that were nonfiction, and most of them were probably memoirs. I don't even think they were like educational nonfiction. Not saying memoirs can't be educational, but like you get it. I feel like I was also one of the people that was very like adamant about like defund the police and like still am, but if I'm being really like honest and like sincere on main if you will, I don't feel like I know enough about what that actually means. Like I understand what it means, but not in a way in which I can like really articulate that to you. And I think that's not good. I think that's not a good way to exist. And therefore, I want to actually be able to pull from a text and reference something. Like I think that reading is important, and to know what the hell you're talking about is important. And I need to be able to actually reference things when I'm holding conversations with people about different topics. And policing is a topic that I want to be able to actually articulate my feelings on. And therefore, I have this book on my TBR. The next one, which feels very, very timely at this point, I was gonna say at this point in time, that's redundant. You get it. Anyways, the undocumented Americans. Obviously, we've all seen what's happening with ICE. Like I don't even really need to go into detail with that. I have to assume that this might touch on that. I really don't know too much of what this book touches on, if I'm being honest. I've just heard that it's good, but I want to just consume whatever information I can, to be honest with you, especially at this point in time and under this administration and such. I feel like it's just important to be educated on certain things, and this is just like one of the things. Next, taking a slight turn as far as like nonfiction goes, with like the other two nonfiction I brought up. But I have How Music Got Free. This is important to me personally. So I don't think I've ever really said this on this channel. I don't really have, I guess, really had a reason to bring this up. But I am a singer of sorts. I've written a couple of songs, not in full, child. Oh Lord, we don't got to talk about that. But I feel like I don't know anything about the music industry really. This is a really humbling video, actually. I feel like I don't really know anything about the music industry in a way in which like I should, and I definitely don't know too much about like streaming and the idea of music being free, and like us not buying like physical albums or records, or even like purchasing music through like iTunes. Like that's not even really like a thing any of us do, right? Like everyone's got Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, whatever, YouTube Music, I guess. Everyone has all of those, so it's like music is free. I feel like I should I should know. I feel like I should know. That's it. That was a long-winded explanation. I feel like I should know. Next, we have Heartstopper Volume 6. Now, I've just read the rest of the books. I think I have, yeah, I have all five of them, all five of the ones that are out. I stopped watching the show. I don't care. I just kind of don't care. But as a completionist, I kind of just like want to finish the series. I think this is the last book anyway, so it's like it'll be an hour of my time. Like I just might as well finish my collection, because why not? And next we have Out There by Kate Folk. I have heard so many good things, and even up till recently, one of you have commented on one of my videos saying that this was one of your favorite books, and I'm just like, oh no, I really have to. Like it was already on my TBR, but like now I indefinite, like I have to get to this book, and I will do it. I will actually like prioritize this one with the 35 others on here. Next we have To Be Mother. I don't know what this book is about, but you're not surprised by that, because I never know. I never know what any books are about really. However, this is the same author that wrote Sorrow and Bliss, and I loved that book. And I think about that book often, and I really, really want to reread it. I just don't know like when I'll decide to reread it, but I really want to. And this is their other book. So I'm just like, I love Sorrow and Bliss. So like, of course I should read this one. And the fact that it's called You Be Mother, and I have to assume it's going to be like a woman with mommy issues. And I love a book about a woman with mommy issues, as someone that did in fact have mommy issues. Like I get it. Like I get it, and I want to consume the book. Next, going into another nonfiction, it's not Hysteria. Everything you need to know about reproductive health. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain this, why this is on here. Next, we have All the Women in My Brain. This is on here purely because I was watching a Lily Reads vlog a minute ago. Oh God, when did I put this on my TV? In 2024. So this was like an old ass like Lily Reads vlog. And she mentioned this book in her vlog, and she was saying that it was really, really good. And I just loved the way that she spoke about the book. And I was like, okay. It's like, sure, I'll read it. So that's why that's on here, and I'm looking forward to it. Next, we have Above Ground. I read Clint Smith's book. Um, Shoot, I don't remember what it's called. I'll have it like up somewhere on the screen. It was so good. I think I introduced to Clint Smith through his poetry like 1,000 years ago. Like literally 1,000 years ago. I got introduced to Clint Smith's work, and I just want to read more of it. I really do. He's such an incredible writer, and I really just want to read more of his work. And now I'm going to talk about these two in tandem, just because they're both about Palestine. You'll see them on the screen. Obviously, there's still like an ethnic cleansing happening. There's still a genocide happening, and I didn't read much since finding out about this genocide. I haven't read much about Palestine really. I think all I read was like Minor Detail, and that's a fiction book about what's happening. And I don't think any of my information or knowledge has extended beyond that. And I don't like that. I don't like that that's what's happening. I feel like I can't really truly say like stand on saying free Palestine and then also neglect to be informed. So that's why those are there. We have They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us. This I'm like actually going to read quite soon because it's ready at the library, thank God. Hanif Abdurraqib is just like, again, such an incredible writer. I found out about him around the same time I found out about Clint Smith. And I've read his book, A Little Devil in America, twice, and brilliant. Brilliant. That book is brilliant. So obviously it's like I want more. I want more and I need to get on it. Next, we have We Used to Live Here. Everyone was talking about this book. I guess this was in 2024 when everyone was talking about this, or maybe that was 2025. I don't recall. I've had this since 2024, so maybe. But yeah, I mean it's kind of low. Has kind of a low Goodreads rating. Or low-ish, I guess. But the girls seem to like it. The streets seem to like it. So I'm interested. A House at the Bottom of a Lake. Now, I found out about this book from Books and Lala. She had mentioned it, and then Lily Reads, Kenya from Lily Reads, um, she also read this book. And I said, "Oh, two of my faves, two of my faves saying they like the same book. I have to read it." So that's why she's here. Next we have She's Always Hungry by Eliza Clark. Eliza Clark also wrote Boy Parts. That's the book. I think about Boy Parts so often, actually. I think about the cover of it because I love the cover. And then I also think about the book itself. I really, really want, that's another book that I really want to reread. I just want to read another like Eliza Clark. I don't know if there's any other books that she had written that I was ever like going to read. But I've again heard a lot of good things about this book, and I'd love to read another Eliza Clark, and I'd also love to reread Boy Parts. And then I have I Who Have Never Known Men. This time again, this is actually another book I'm gonna read quite soon. You might actually hear my thoughts on this in my wrap up, in my like Media Mondays wrap up next month. Unless this comes out in this might literally come out in February, actually. This video might come out in February. So maybe in like a week from the time this video comes out, you'll hear my thoughts on this book. But I'm really excited. People seem to really love this. Again, it's a book I know nothing about, and I actually really enjoy going into books blind. And just knowing that the kind of the general consensus of a book. Y'all, y'all will hear my thoughts on this soon. Now, on to another nonfiction. I know we have been bringing up 1984. We've been talking about fascism a lot. We've been having a lot of conversations about the state of the US, at least. I live in the US. Yeah, I live in the US. And obviously, there's been a lot of conversations about fascism, and I just feel like I need to know more information. Like, I understand fascism in its most like bare bones sense, but again, like I was saying earlier, I really want to get into the habit of just knowing more. Just knowing more about things that are relevant or things that I would want to discuss with like my community and the people around me. um so that's why this book is here, and I literally just have to get to, especially all of these nonfiction, I literally just have to get to them this year. One, because I need to be reading more nonfiction, and two, because I try to read nonfiction, or really books in general that I feel like are important to the current landscape and the current times that we're in. And now making a little bit of a turn, let's talk about Dracula. Now, I'm pretty sure I had put this book on my TBR and then taken it off and then put it back on in 2025. I don't think April 1st of 2025 is the accurate date of when I originally put this book on my TBR, but I took it off because I said maybe I don't care. And that is untrue. I do care about Dracula and the story of Dracula. And this is all stems from the fact that I have been obsessed with the anime Castlevania. Yeah, I've been actually obsessed with the anime Castlevania, so much so that I feel like I need more Dracula related content. Like, the last version of Castlevania that I watched doesn't even have Dracula in it. It only has his son, doesn't even have Dracula in it. And his son doesn't even show up until like maybe halfway through season 2, I think. Like, he's not even like in the whole thing. So I've kind of had a little bit of obsession with Dracula, as well as the song Dracula. So I just kind of need to. This is just purely an unserious desire. Next, we have why I love horror. Do I love horror like for realsies? Maybe. Maybe. I love horror as a concept, but I'm easily spooked. However, I'm very intrigued with this book. I just feel like it's gonna be good. Like, I have nothing else. I have nothing else other than I just kind of feel like it's going to be good. So that's the reason why this is here. Next we have Tiffany D. Jackson's book, The Scammer. I will read anything that D. Jackson puts out. I think I've read, I don't like own any of her books. That's actually crazy that I don't own any of them. I think they're all so good, and I just don't own any of them. But I haven't met a Tiffany D. Jackson book that I didn't enjoy. I haven't met one. And I just want to read everything she puts out. I feel the same way I feel about Tiffany D. Jackson is how I feel about Joya Goffney. I kind of gotten introduced to both of those authors at the same time and fell in love with their work so heavy that literally anything, like, I would say they're instant buy, but that's not true. I own all of Joya Goffney's books. But I'll say that they're like instant read. Like, if they put something out, like, I'm there. Like, I might be a little late to the party, but I'm going to get my hands on it. And next, someone else that is going to technically, I guess, be like a instant read slash instant buy author for me, and that's Becky Chambers. Absolutely adore Becky Chambers' work. And Books and Lala had read this book, To Be Taught If Fortunate, and it made her cry. And I said, "Oh, I need it. I need it. Run it to me right now. Run it to me right now. Give it to me, please." Like, yeah, I need to. Next, we have Project Hail Mary. This is another book I had on my TBR and then took off. Now, I really want to watch the movie. The movie, I think, comes out in April. So I'm going to definitely get to this book before April, but I just wanted to read the book before the movie comes out. That's it. That's the only reason why this is here. The movie looks good, and it feels silly of me as a reader to not read the source material. That's it. So that's why she's here. So the next book here on my TBR, I've literally already pre-ordered. I have been following with Cindy for a while. Probably a couple of years. I think she's one of like the first booktubers that I ever subscribed to. And it's so it's so good to actually see a booktuber talk about writing a book and then the book comes out. I felt the same way about Pages of Haley when her book came out. I'm like, it is so good to like be able to watch these creators and be really excited because you already have some sort of like background knowledge, I guess, or I guess it's all of the parasocial of it all, the like parasocial relationship that you build with the people that you watch on the internet. And it's just really exciting. So I'm really excited for her book. I'm excited that I got it pre-ordered. So the next book I have is Holly, which is a part of the Belladonna series, which I really enjoyed. I don't have a copy of the third book because I got the other two in paperback. And obviously books tend to come out, like especially popular books tend to come out in hardcover before you get the paperback. So I have to get the paperback. But I saw that there's number 3.5, which I don't know why this exists, but I'm interested. I don't think it should exist, maybe. Obviously, I haven't read it. I feel like the story ended well enough. Not well enough. I think the story ended really well, actually. I really liked the third book and I felt like it wrapped up the series really well. So I'm a little confused why this exists, but I'm curious. And I hope I don't regret it. I hope I don't regret it, but I am curious. Next, we have the seventh volume of The Summer Hikaru Died. And who's surprised? Who's surprised? This is also another book I pre-ordered. So there's that. Next, this book I heard about recently. As you can see, I literally just put this on my TBR at the end of last year. I already forgot what this book is about. I've already forgot what this book is about, but I put this on my TBR because of Books and Lala, because of her video talking about like upcoming releases. I remember that I was intrigued by the synopsis. I can't tell you what the synopsis is. I can't tell you, but I remember it was intriguing. The next book we have is Japanese Gothic. I loved Mexican Gothic. Do I want to say it's one of my favorite books of all time? Maybe. I think if I read it again, I would be able to like tell you definitively. Japanese Gothic, yeah, yeah. I feel like I need to know. I feel like I need to know, and I believe similarly to Mexican Gothic, this one also takes place um, in a house. Um, and I'm really hoping for that like gothic horror kind of claustrophobic type of thing. I'm like really, really looking forward to this book because I feel like it's been a while. I kind of fell off of like reading gothic horror. That used to be something where if you told me something was gothic horror, like I'd immediately jump to it. And I think besides like T. King Fisher's um Sworn Soldier series, like I haven't been like actively reading gothic horror, but I really, really love gothic horror. I'm very excited for that. Next, we have Headlights. Now, to know me is to know that CJ Lead is another person that I am very like insta buy for. After reading Mayfly, I said, oh no, she gets it. I said, oh, she gets it. So I don't care what this book is about. I will just tell you that in typical CJ fashion, the cover is ugly as fuck. Like in typical CJ fashion, the cover is in fact ugly as fuck. And will I still own the book? Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? American Rapture's not that bad. American Rapture's cover is not that bad. The Mayfly cover, disgusting. And then this Headlights cover, also disgusting. But like, sure, sure. Next, another T. Kingfisher, Paladin's Grace. Um, I don't know how much I can tell you about why this is here without giving away something personal about myself that I don't think that you need to know. um, hmm, let's just say that this is here because I love the anime Blue Exorcist. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to elaborate. Next, I read maybe two Oscar Wilde books. maybe. I no, two, definitely two. And I think it's just about time for more Oscar Wilde. Like there's just nothing else. I just think there's about time for more Oscar Wilde. So that's why this book is here. Lastly, on my TBR, we finally made it to the end. We have Heaven Official's Blessing, Volume 6. In a perfect world, I would finish Heaven's Official's Blessing. So I would be reading volume 6, 7, and 8 this year and just finishing this. But I don't see that for myself. I don't. So you will know my opinions on this book in December. In December, for like, or I should really say in January of 2027, when I do like my yearly like best to worst wrap up, you'll hear my thoughts. Because I'm probably gonna read that book in December because it just seems like it's Heaven's Official's Blessing and the Night Circus. Just every December. Just I have to. I have to do that. That's it. Like I had mentioned earlier, some videos, I guess, to look forward to. I want to start doing Media Mondays, which y'all will see. I'm gonna try to do them once a month, and it's pretty much gonna be my version of a like wrap up. But I consume more than just books, and I actually, like I was saying before, I don't think I'm going to consume that many books. So instead of me coming to you and just talking about like 3 or 4 books and like that being the video, I want to also discuss like what music I've been listening to and what anime I've been watching. So I hope y'all will care. I hope y'all will be interested in like all of the media that I'm consuming and like me talking about all of the media I'm consuming. You guys can look forward to that. That's gonna be the video that I'm gonna try to make consistent like every single month. You guys will get a Media Mondays on hopefully like the first Monday of the month. It really just depends on how quickly they can get edited and what time the month ends. But yeah, that's all I have. I'm hoping again to release more videos and be a little bit more consistent. But that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. So like the video, comment what books you're planning on reading this year. Tell me about any like new releases that are coming out. Because I'm interested in new releases. And is there anything else? Oh yes, all the places you can follow me. You can follow me on Goodreads, as we've been on my Goodreads this whole time. You can follow me on Goodreads. You can follow me on Storygraph. You can follow me on Fable. You can follow me on Apple Music again if you care about what music I'm listening to. I still haven't switched over to Tidal. I think I pretty much like I said that in like another video. I mentioned Tidal. I have not switched over to Tidal. So we'll see when it happens. If I have, you'll see that on the screen instead of Apple Music. If I've switched over by the time this video comes out, so you can stop watching. Bye.